Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of Valpo Basketball Weekly, brought to you by our friends at Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. Brandon Vickery with you. Glad to be joined by the head coach of the Valpo basketball program, Matt Loddick. And let's start with Tuesday's game against Trinity Christian, a game where you have an opportunity to take on a non-Division I opponent. And I know fans are sometimes curious about these games on the schedule. So can you help explain what the benefit is of playing a non-Division I opponent and how a game like Tuesday will help your team going forward this season?
Well, I think first and foremost, right, there's we want to play as many home games as possible. And, the way that college basketball is structured these days, right, you're either spending a lot of money to get home games or you're not. And so if you're buying a Division I home game, right, it's usually can be anywhere from 75 to $110,000, right? And right now we're not, we don't have a crazy budget to do stuff like that. And so a Division I opponent, a non-Division I opponent typically is a lot less expensive. We can get a home game. And if you look across the board, the Missouri Valley typically has played two non-D1s a year, all teams. This year, under new leadership, we're playing one. And so I think the value is just a home game. The value is to get, some guys maybe on your bench that haven't played as much to get some experience. But then you look across the board, even at, I don't know, we played Sanford, right? And we went down to their place. I think they played four non-D1s. And so there's a lot of leagues that there's a lot more non-Division I games than our league. And so, I understand maybe some of the frustration, but I think there's just tremendous value in it as well.
Sure. I wanted to ask about Jerome Palm. He's had kind of an interesting season. He starts the year in your starting lineup. There's a game where he doesn't play at all, and then he comes back and he's put up big numbers of late. What have you seen in terms of his progress and the way he's played of late?
Well, Jerome's been consistent with his attitude and his effort. I think, like a lot of guys that come in, right, to a program, like there's just a new way of doing things that maybe they haven't done. And I thought, he's made tremendous strides because he's just remained coachable and he's really a high rebound guy. And that's been consistent every time we've put him in. He is obviously starting to develop a little bit of offense, finding his spots for us. When we made the change a little bit to try to put him coming off the bench, I think a lot of that had to do with just, trying to find someone that could maybe help stretch the defense for, Ben, who's getting a lot of double teams down there in the paint and stuff. And so, but he's done a great job with his role, continues to earn more minutes, and we've been really pleased.
You mentioned Ben and what a show he put on Sunday with 31 points. Murray State's Rob Perry had 32 high-level scores in the league. What was that like to watch, and what makes Ben so hard for the opposition to stop, and maybe what made Rob Perry so hard for you to stop on Sunday?
Well, Perry, we'll talk about him a little bit first. I mean, he's got some, not afraid of the moment. I'll just say that. He had some huge shots for him. And some deep threes. Obviously able to still deck it, put it on the and get to the lane. Ben, I think, is he's really crafty inside of 15 feet. He's able to score at a really high rate. Again, he hit a three in that game. Hit a three last night. So he can stretch the defense. A big thing that we're trying to work on right now is just trying to get more paint touches before we shoot our threes. And I think that was a big emphasis going into Trinity last night. And we were able to hit some threes, get some inside out stuff. And so I think that'll help Ben to just start making some shots. But, when you're a versatile scorer and you're talented, you're going to put up baskets. And that's what those two young men did in that conference game.
Since you mentioned the threes, let's dive into that a little more. What do you need to do going forward? You mentioned the paint touches, and when you look at the film, has it been open shots missed? Has it been not the best shots that you want? A combination of both in terms of the 3-point shooting.
No, I think our shot selection again. I think paint touch threes go in more. Again, we don't have bad shooters. I think that maybe right now they need to see the ball going, get some confidence back. But again, we've got to take, time of score dictates every shot you take. And your ability dictates your shot, right? So if you're a really great shooter and you have an open look pretty early in the shot clock, we want you to shoot that. But if you're not, or you haven't really seen one go in, let's work the ball, make the defense work a little bit, and then we can shoot those. And I think, that's just coaching, and that's kind of the process that we're going in or going through right now. And our guys did a great job of it last night. We just have to build on it.
The pre-Christmas portion in college basketball for a lot of teams is about building and growing as a team. There's going to be roster turnover every year across the board in college basketball. You got a lot of time on the road with the team lately. What have you learned about the group? Where are you at right now in terms of learning about this year's version of your program?
Well, we've had, it's been fun. This is a fun group, right? They're really, really great young men. They have a lot of charisma about them, good smiles. I mean, they're just fun to be around. And so that makes my job fun. For like a lot of teams and really a lot of athletes across the board, right? There's just been injuries that we've had to deal with a little bit. The guys are starting to get healthy. And then, man, we had that flu go through us. I mean, it was insane. And I know you were on the road with us, and just the amount of guys that were just really, really sick at times. And it seems like it's just kind of everywhere. And so we've dealt a little bit with that, but again, even through all that, guys' spirits have been high. Guys are giving us what they can, and we're starting to learn a little bit about our team rotations. And again, like you said, it's with all the roster turnover, you got to learn about your team now, and so we're doing that, and excited to continue to get better.
And last thing, let's look ahead. What type of challenge will Ole Miss present on Saturday?
Oh, I mean, like any high major, right? They're really long, they're really athletic, and they mix up their defenses. And so, for us, I think we're gonna have to make some shots. We're gonna have to, be able to kind of identify what they're in, how we want to attack it, and go in there confidently. And they're a good team. They had a lot of roster turnover this year, but he's done a good job getting those guys together and playing hard. And so it'll be a fun environment for us, and we're looking forward to it.
There he is, the head coach of the Valpo basketball program, Matt Loddick. Again, Valpo at Ole Miss. It'll be a nationally televised game on Saturday afternoon. You can watch the game on SEC Network. And we'll talk to you again next time on Valpo Basketball Weekly. And it's brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute.